Thank you very much. What a lovely welcome. Please don't stand up for anybody ever in the future. We're all equal. You don't need to. And I do respect the respect that you've given me, but I'm closer to you in terms of age. I'm wearing cargo trousers, my button is open. I haven't come in any formal clothes. So chill, relax. Number one. Number two, I heard a big round of applause when somebody said 1,000 crores. Why are we so hung up on how much money somebody is worth or valued in? Shouldn't matter. How much money you make in life is incidental. It's a byproduct of your success. Results are a byproduct of your success. What you're supposed to focus on is the quality of your input. It doesn't matter. Are my customers happy? Are my end users happy? How many of you use BookMyShow? Okay. How many of you, don't bullshit me, okay? How many of you are happy? Keep your hands up with the service that we provide, or the ones that are not happy, you keep your hands down. The ones who are happy. About 80% of you are happy. And that is the only consolation, or that is the only reward that you must have as an entrepreneur, as a person who's running the company. It doesn't matter whether it is 1,000 crores, whether it is 10,000 crores. It is a piece of paper, always remember that. And today it could be 1,000 crores. Tomorrow that valuation could be 100. But if I still have happy customers, it doesn't matter. I'll give you another example. Do you all go to Kayani's bakery? Do you all buy Shrewsbury biscuit? Do you all buy that Mawa cake? He is one crazy Bawa who's running it in Pune, who has no valuation, who has nothing, but all of us still stand in the line and buy that same cake year after year after year for the last 100 years. Because the quality of his input is very good and the quality of his product is very good. He does not franchise, he does not sell his product anywhere else. He's extremely proud of what he does. What I'll do as a session is, one second, why are we here, first of all? Just, okay, we're just here, great. That's the way I like it. What I'm going to do is, spend maybe half an hour on talking to you about my entrepreneurial journey, about our journey as BookMyShow and how we built the organization. And then I'll open it up to questions. I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions. You heard about this whole, .com boom, aisa ban raha hai, itna paisa ban raha hai, ye ho raha hai, all of that, should I become an entrepreneur? Should I join a company? Should I start at a FMCG company? Some of you guys are here because your placement says that sala pura auditorium bharo nahi to bura lagega, khali idhar hi lagega. Right? So each one of you is here for a different reason, right? Some of you are bunking a class, some of you are being forced by your placement cell, some of you are trying to escape a professor, some of you want to listen to me, some of you are saying sala 1,000 crore kaise banane. I will give you answers to all after this half an hour talk. You ask me questions, okay? About bunking, about relationships, about marriage, about multiple girlfriends, whatever you all want to ask me. I'll try and answer the best I can. Because I'm not that old yet in my mind. So, I went to a B school just like you guys did. Now, I think it was a waste of time. But since you all have already paid money and you all are in the second year, might as well make most of it. Whatever I learned in B school didn't teach me anything what I need to learn in business. So, the problem is that what you take out of B school is not what is written in your textbooks. What you take out of B school, and again I'm not bullshitting you, what you take out of B schools is what your professors, the way you mentor, they mentor you. What you can learn and gain from their experiences, and the friendships that you build within. There are 4 guys at BookMyShow. There's me, who founded the company. Then I roped in another guy called Parikshit Dar, who he mentioned. 7 or 8 months after I started. Then I roped in another friend called Rajesh Balpande. And then recently, about a year and a half, 2 years ago, there was another guy that came on board, Masdi Kalyani. We're all friends from B school. We've been friends for 22 years. And we all run the company. And of course, there are many more friends that we've built along the way. There's Viraj Patel, who was there earlier today, who's been with the company for 15 years. So, I'm saying the text is not important. What you get out of it is important. And what universities and colleges and PUMBA and the management program do for you is to just create the necessary environment for you to flourish. Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, the guys at Google, Steve Jobs, name any of these guys, they didn't end up finishing college, right? A lot of them. And what did it for them was the environment. So dwell and live in the environment. When I started my life, I finished my MBA I was a very average student. Huh? And I finished, and I'm dyslexic. I realized I'm dyslexic only 4-5 years ago. I make a mistake with numbers, and I make a mistake with alphabets. I was wondering all these years why all the girlfriends used to slap me. While I'm trying to call one girl, साला दूसरे number को लग जाता है. I read numbers ulta. I realized I'm dyslexic only 4-5 years ago. So no challenge is something that the human mind cannot overcome. So the next best thing I do, every time I read numbers, now I read them 3-4 times. And if I'm reading a girl's number, I read them 5 times because now I'm married with a child, so now I have to read it 5 times. और गलती होगा तो और problem होगा. So the fact is, in 1999, when I finished my masters actually in '97, and then I worked for J. Walter Thompson for 2 years. I was on a holiday in South Africa, and all the money that I had collected for 2 years, I went on a holiday to South Africa. I was backpacking from Joburg to Cape Town, and at Cape Town I went to a place called Stellenbosch. So if you know what Napa is, or in India there is Nasik, right, where it's the wine growing country. So in the US there is Napa, in India there is Nasik, in South Africa it's called Stellenbosch. So I went to Stellenbosch. Now, I had just finished an MBA 2 years ago. I had earned very little money. All the money was in this holiday. I was doing a backpacking holiday. And on top of that I was Sindhi. So, do you know why Sindhis have large nostrils? You all know, right? Because the air is free. So, I was getting free wine. In Stellenbosch, you go from vineyard to vineyard and you get free wine. So I got high and drunk very quickly. And then I went to a youth hostel in the night. I was sleeping. And I said, yaar, India mein, growing up in Bombay, I used to go to Sterling, Regal, sit on the steps and go to cricket matches. And everybody used to lie to you, ticket nahi. But inside there were tickets available. So there was black marketing, there was lack of transparency, there was lack of information, and there was lack of democratization. And I said, if we can create these 4 core values, not how much money you can make, what the valuation could be. We never started like that, right? I don't think the founders at Infosys says, what valuation can I create? Or Steve Jobs said, he just wanted to build beautiful products, and all of us carry his products and swear by his products. And I said, can we democratize information? Can we provide authentic and fair information? Can we make the process of buying tickets easy? And for consumers like me, make it the most damn easy thing to do. And I came back and I quit my job on a whim at the age of 24. And those days were not as ripe as the ecosystem is today. Today, if you think of a business idea, you think of entrepreneurship, you can get funded, your ideas can go through an accelerator, you can get a mentor, you can go through an accelerator program, you can get funding through angel investors, then you can go through seed round of funding, then you can go to Series A, Series B. I'm sure you've heard of all these words, right? At that time there was nothing like that, boss. 1999, I'm 40 today. That time there was nothing like that. There was no ecosystem that existed in it. But I came back and I quit my job. Now I'm sitting at home for 3 months. My parents thought, isko likhaya, padhaya, bada kiya, pala, posa. Now he's sitting at home. They thought I was on a holiday, extended holiday. So they said, yaar, tumko office nahi jana, you finished your MBA. I said, I quit my job. You know how Indian parents are. What they couldn't do for themselves, they want to do through their children. The father a doctor nahi ban paya, so he wants to make his son a doctor. Tumko doctor banna hai. Father could not become an engineer, you should become an engineer. Boss, I want to become a musician. Why should I become an engineer? But Indian parents show love and affection through food. Then they show love and affection through, so everybody goes moda. Then they show love and affection through education. Then love and affection for what they could not become career. And finally, they get you to marry the girl where they wish they would have married because their mother is married. That is how Indian parents are. So there was this whole drama that took place in my house. Hey, itna padhaya, ye kar diya, abhi tum ye karega, ticket bechega, black market. Next you want to become a maid, next you want to become a driver. I said, boss, but there's dignity of labor. What is wrong with that? Today, look at Taxi for Sure, which is a copy of Uber or Ola. And I know those kids, the guy who started Ola, the guy that started Taxi for Sure. Look at Uber. Uber is an $18 billion enterprise today. If I had started driving taxis, I would have learned what the problems of taxi drivers were and how to solve those problems. If you go to Israel, the problem with entrepreneurship in India is that the ecosystem or the family or the educational institutes do not allow you to do that. In Israel, there is no fear of failure. If there is a husband-wife duo, they will create a product, they will put their life savings in it, and they will try to make something better than what it already was. And even if it fails, they don't mind, they will go back to scratch and start. So do you realize the population of 11 million people, we are, how many, I don't even know, 1.2 billion people on the last count, but 11 million people, there are more billion-dollar companies coming out of Israel than they're coming out of India. Because they don't fear failure. We are all conformists. Abhi bahar ek bande ne chappal nikala to everybody will remove chappal. Why can't you put your chappal in your bag and carry it? Chori ho gaya to? I'm just saying, why are we conformists? You're just conforming to everything that happens. You are expecting a founder CEO to have come in a suit or a jacket. I would have loved to come in shorts, but your professors would have thrown me out. But I said, I'll wear shorts, I'll wear a shirt and open a button. It's bloody October. Everybody in India wears a tie and a suit. You all from your placement cell also must be going in tie and suit. A 40-degree temperature hai bahar. Why are you wearing a tie and a suit? You have to be hairbrain dead. Do you realize the guy sitting in front of you must be saying, kitna baas marta hai? You think about it. We don't think. We are conformists. The fact of the matter is, why are we conformists? In Israel, they are not conformists. So when I came back, one of the things I probably did right was I was not a conformist. I quit my job and I sat at home and I said, I'm going to start the damn company. When I started the company, I sent out a one-page of fax to Chase Capital Partners JP Morgan. And at that time, I got $500,000 in my savings bank account, which was 2 crores. I could have taken the money and run. I didn't even have a current bank account. I didn't even have a company. 1999 was a very different time. The issue was that we were the first company that started a call center where we would deliver tickets to people's homes, collect cash and then bring it back. And on the weekday, we used to have an actual loss because we were buying inventory. And on the weekend, we had an opportunity loss because we could sell more. And one of my early clients used to be a client in Pune. I'll tell you, it's close to your heart, that's why. And close in geographical location. It's a place called Cine Pride, and Mr. Shafalkar, he owns all these Cine Pride, City Pride, all of those. It was a single screen cinema, it never used to be a multiplex. He used to be our client at that time. We used to buy inventory from him and sell tickets and all of that. E Square, B Square have just come about, last few years. And we used to sell tickets for even Bryan Adams and all these concerts and cricket matches and deliver tickets to people's homes. Now I'll tell you where we started building the business. We got to about 150 people. And the problem was, in an internet or a new world business, your cost curve needs to flatten as your revenue curve keeps rising. The problem was, every time we got hit by more customers, our revenue curve went up slightly, but our cost curve went up very high. The reason it went up is because we had to add more bodies at call centers, more people on bikes, more loss on cash on delivery. Do you know the ratio of cash on delivery rejection ratio even today? Take a guess. You know, you have your Flipkart, Snapdeal, they do cash on delivery. What is the rejection ratio of a guy coming to your house and saying, sir, aapka product aa gaya, paisa do, and you say, mujhe nahi chahiye? How many people do that?
20%.
50%. 50%. Can you imagine the inefficiency in the system? So, the ecosystem didn't exist. There was no internet penetration, there was no broadband connectivity, there was no credit card. Credit cards, there were very few. Net banking, debit card didn't exist. Mobile phones didn't exist. 1999, I remember I got my mobile phone. I used to work for J. Walter Thompson. 16 rupees incoming, outgoing, I had a 30-second pulse. I never picked up the phone, I only used to carry it. Kabhi uthaya nahi phone. Every time somebody calls you, you will pay 16 bucks, even if you don't want to take the guy's call. And I used to keep cutting the call. After 1 month, I realized if you cut the call, you get billed for it. So that still happens, by the way. If you're roaming and you're abroad and you cut the phone coming from India, you will get billed for it. So don't cut the phone, put the ringer on. Little tidbit from a Sindhi to other Indians. Then what happened was, we grew the business to about 2001. We believed we were running a damn good business. But there were no profits coming in. It was a loss-making business. Like you read, right? Everybody's making losses. By the way, BookMyShow is an EBITDA PAT positive business for the last 2.5 years. We're the only internet company that is. And in 2002, the dot-com bust happened, by which time I was invested by News Corp by 2001. They invested another 10 crores. And In 2002, when the dot-com bust happened, I went from 150 people down to 6, including an office boy. I went from a 2,000 square foot, 500 square foot office to a 136 square foot office in Bombay. My 2,500 square foot office was right opposite Siddhivinayak temple. I don't know if you've heard of Siddhivinayak temple. It's a Ganesh, it's a Ganpati temple. And when that dot-com crash happened, I went to a 136 square foot office, including a toilet, no ACs, no nothing, next to a beer bar in Bandra. So you know, there was this story about this beggar who used to sit outside a temple and used to keep begging. And people used to give him $1, $1. And then after that he got fed up and sat outside a beer bar. Everybody who used to get drunk in the night used to give him $100, $500. Then he actually turned around and said, Bhagwan, tum rehte kidhar ho, pata kidhar ke liye ho. That happened. The moment we moved from opposite Siddhivinayak next to a beer bar, a hockey stick growth started happening. Because the ecosystem in 2002 didn't exist, and we said we are going to build the ecosystem. We started installing ticketing software. When you go to E-Square, PVR, you go to any of these places, when you go to the box office and you buy a ticket, or when you go to the food counter and buy the food and they punch that sale, that entire ERP and ticketing system belongs to us. Nobody knows that. We've been running that since 2002. But since 1999. One of the lessons that we learned in life very early on, anything given free in life is not valued. I used to give my software free from 1999 to 2002. I got only 14 people to take it. In 2002, I changed the ecosystem and I said I'm going to charge for this. From 2002 to 2005, my order books were full. Because when you attach a value, people say, "Arey, isme kuch to hoga." Similar, in economic theory, I don't know if you've read this Giffin's paradox. Right? Normally your demand supply curve, right? As your demand curve, as your your price goes down, your demand goes up, and as your price goes up, your demand goes down, right? The Giffin's paradox is ulta. If there's an essential piece of good like bread, and if the price of a very low price product goes down, you think there's something wrong, and so does the demand. So the price curve follows the demand curve. Am I right? I don't know. Giffin's paradox is something like that. It's a long time ago. In Delhi,